You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast with your dating coach, Trip, from tripadvice.com. Do you struggle with getting girls to like you? You'll learn step by step how to talk to girls to create deep connections, whether it be for one night of wild fun, a 1-week fling.
Are you currently involved in a sexual relationship?
Or for a lifelong partner.
Full of long-lasting pleasure.
Here's your host, Trip.
Hello and welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. This is your host Trip from tripadvice.com, and I want to tell you about a new dating app that I've been using called Luxy. Maybe you've heard about me talking about it before. Now Luxy, their slogan is connect with the successful and attractive. You actually have to get voted in to be able to use the dating app. What's really cool about it is if you get voted in, you get access to a lot of women that you might not be able to get access to if you're using other dating apps or if you're using online dating or just going out and meeting girls. Like I say, this should be another tool in your arsenal, right? Just like another way of meeting women, another avenue of meeting women. And I highly recommend checking out this app called Luxy. And again, what's really cool about it is you can meet very beautiful women and you get all different kinds of perks with it. If you end up getting in, you actually get invited to some of their singles events that they have in designated cities, so you can attend that. And they also were kind enough to give you a free promo code called TRIP. So all you got to do is put in TRIP in the promo code, and what you'll do is you'll be able to get some coins and some different perks that most people won't be able to get, and you can use this for different access on the site. So on the app itself, there's all these different things that you can use. You can be able to message people even if you guys haven't been able to match yet, right? All these different cool things that a lot of other apps don't do. So check it out, Luxy, Luxy. It's on iOS, it's on Android, it's completely free unless you want to upgrade to one of their subscriptions. But like I said, you're going to get a free promo code, so it doesn't hurt to check it out. So go to Luxy right now and see if you can get in. And today's episode is all about profile creation. That's right. So if you're on any online dating site, and no, we're not talking about the apps. We're not talking about Tinder and Bumble and Happen and all those good ones. We're talking about the actual websites, the Match, the OkCupid, the eHarmony, things like that. We are going to be talking with Emily Hamill, M. Hamill as she calls herself, from menaskm.com. Again, that's menaskm.com, and she is an expert at helping men with online dating. She calls it smart online dating for men. So we're going to be learning how to take your profile and use a cool technique in terms of how to talk about yourself, and some cool techniques in terms of how to maximize your pictures, and really easy stuff, by the way. That's the cool thing about M, is that she really is able to give you simple little tweaks that will make a big difference, and I personally love those. I'm sure that you do too. So check out this interview, listen up, some really good information on how to make your profile on online dating killer, so women are going to respond to you and so that they'll message you first. And I promise these little tweaks, you're going to get a lot of women being way more responsive. So if you haven't tried online dating or you're having trouble with it, listen to this interview with M. Hamill from menaskm.com. Here it is. Hey M, how you doing?
Hey Trip, I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today because I've talked to some online dating experts, but I feel like I haven't really gone deep into the idea of profile creation, and I know we're talking about that today, and I'm really excited to get into that. So thank you for being here and joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here also, and yeah, let's go deep into profile creation.
I love it. Well, before we get into that, why don't you give the listener a little bit of an idea of who you are and how you got started and why they should listen to you and trust you, even though I know they should, but it's also good to hear it from the source.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a marketing consultant. I've been in marketing for about 10 years, and I'm also the creator of Men Ask M, smart online dating advice for men. And that was born in 2013. But backing up before that, about 6 years ago, I was a couple years out of college, and like most people, I, wasn't really meeting anybody at work. I wasn't really the bar hopping type. I also live outside of a city, so I was not in a huge population of young people. And online dating was really just getting going with popularity. There wasn't so much of a stigma to it anymore, and the idea of it just really, really appealed to me. The efficiency of it, the ability to connect with both quantity and quality, a bunch of people that you normally wouldn't have the opportunity to meet in real life, and narrow in on the people that were right for me. So I had a lot of fun online dating, and a bunch of my friends were doing it as well. And as I was getting going, some of the issues I was running into with the guys I was meeting online, just weren't representing themselves well in their profiles, and were sending messages that were, weak, weak at best, and sexual harassment at worst.
Ooh.
And it's like that's the typical downside of online dating. But I was also meeting really smart, interesting, funny, great guys in person, and they were expressing to me some of their frustrations, and, my brothers were online dating. A couple of my good guy friends were doing it as well. And I just realized there was a real opportunity for great guys to be standing out, and they were either not knowing how to do it, so they weren't representing themselves well online, in essence, marketing themselves well online, or they weren't knowing how to reach the right girls through their messages. And so I started doing a bunch of research and interviews and writing. I started writing articles. I'm also a writer. And Men Ask Em was born in the very end of 2013. And shortly after that, I was featured on Life Hacker. And
Cool.
it's been lots of fun ever since. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I think that says it all. Let's get into some tips and talk about profile stuff. I mean, I know one thing. I'm just gonna give a tip because I thought of it in terms of, it's something I teach a little bit. I don't really teach much online dating, but a little bit, and it made me think of it because of what you were just saying here in terms of like some of the sexual harassment, weird people, right? It's like, I feel like one of the ways to stand out, this is not just with profiles, it's with messaging too, is just like be normal. Like I feel like a lot of guys, I think some weird guys just choose not to do that because they're just really totally weird. But I think as a way of encouraging the guys who are listening right now is, if you just be somewhat normal and not creepy and not too overt, you can already get ahead than more than half the guys. I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh, I know. I think that's so true. I think that almost, I think literally all the clients I've worked with are really wonderful, smart, good, well-intentioned guys. And there's this, I don't know what it is out there that makes them think that they need to be sexually aggressive online, or that, it's that whole like pickup artist culture, I think is sort of rubbing off in the wrong way. And really, you just need to be yourself. You just need to make like a slight effort to be polite, and really just talk to people with the same curiosity and interest and, genuine intention as you would to a good friend of yours. That's it.
I like that. We'll call that the good friend technique. How do you talk to your friends? This is how you should be talking to the girl.
Right.
Unless, you talk to your friends about really weird, creepy stuff. Like maybe other women, but.
Well, and you know what? If you talk to your friends about weird, creepy stuff and that's who you are, then by all means use that technique to find a woman who wants to talk to you about weird, creepy stuff.
Yeah.
There's a match for everyone. And if that's you, then go for it. But, maybe that's probably not most people. I don't know.
Right. No, for sure. Cool. Okay, cool. So what can guys do to start creating a really awesome profile? And before actually you answer that question, why should guys even bother to work on their profile?
Sure. When you put out there who you are, then the right girl for you can recognize that it's you. That's it on a basic level. When you put out there who you are, the right people can find you. it's a short answer, but
No,
that's what I
absolutely.
believe.
I mean,
You know?
do you also think that a lot of girls are reading the profiles?
Oh yeah. What I mean, for sure, they rifle through the pictures first. The pictures are a first impression, but the profile is the closer.
Okay, got it. So the profile is the thing that really kind of brings it all together.
Is that what you were asking? Did they even read the profile?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
basically, I wouldn't know because I'm a guy, right? So like, what are the girls? You know, are they skimming? Are they reading it pretty thoroughly? I mean, I know that guys read the profiles too, but I'll be honest with you. I think there's a lot of guys out there, maybe even a majority, who are just like, okay, she's cute.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go for it, and don't even read the profile at all. So I guess my question is are women doing the same thing, or are they reading it pretty intently, or how is it going with that?
So women are in the advantage because they get inundated with messages, and so they're in the advantage because they get all these messages and they get to go to guys' profiles for the most part to, in essence, choose the pick of the litter. It's sort of a terrible way to think about it, but it's why a guy needs to send a great first message that proves he's genuinely interested in getting to know the girl and just doesn't think that she's hot. And it's why he needs to have a profile that when she, reads his great message, clicks on his profile to come check him out, he needs to have a profile that proves he's worth meeting. And, it's if you're looking for a hookup, maybe just, hot pictures are all you need. But if you're looking for something that's going to last a couple more, hours than one night, and you're planning to have multiple conversations and dates and build a partnership with this person, then it's smart to give her something that she can start imagining that experience with you from reading that.
Got it. Okay. And so, how can a guy do that?
So he can really just start by making a minimal effort. There are so many guys out there who write really minimal profiles. They don't really make an effort. They don't take the time to write about themselves or share details about themselves. So just start by making a little bit more of an effort than that. The base is, the line is low. The baseline's low for you to stand out. So just start there and recognize that we all know profile writing is awkward. So like if you can sort of put that aside, start there, and then your goal for your profile is really only to stand out by making it easy for women to see what you share in common and want to start a conversation with you. And you do that by sharing really specific information about yourself, your interests, your lifestyle, your beliefs, your values, your job, your passions, your hobbies, how you spend your time.
Okay, so what I took out of that is this idea of being really specific. I think that's something that seems really important in terms of profile creation.
Absolutely. You had asked, I think in a previous podcast, you had been talking about, I think it was about how to have interesting conversations with girls. And I loved that episode of your podcast because you said that it's easy to ask.
Which episode was this? Do you remember what number?
I don't remember. I don't remember the number.
The podcast is called How to Talk to Girls. So I'm like, oh man.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I know you're right. It was specifically about having like more in-depth conversations with them.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. It was that episode.
Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. And one of the things that I love that you said was to sort of dig at the why behind what it is that she's sharing. And that's what I like to say that guys should do in their profiles is ask themselves what, why, and how. Like, what is it that they do if you're active? Instead of just saying that you're an active person, what is it that you do that would make you describe yourself that way? Why is that something that's important in your life? How do you back that up in your everyday life? Asking yourself those questions, why, what, and how, are really good for getting at those deeper levels of information.
So why don't we go and run through a example of that? So let's let's go through one and we can kind of ask those questions and try to give some examples.
Cool. Okay.
So what would be something that a guy you would see as a mistake would write on his profile, and then how could we fix that to be better with those questions? Is that kind of how you do it, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, I'm working with a client and I'm helping him to revise his profile, that is what we do specifically. And it's also what I write about in the ebook on my site. And it's a really classic example is a guy saying, I like to have fun. And I'm sure that you've seen this on a bazillion girls' profiles as well. It's like, we all want to have fun, but really what we do that is fun is totally, totally subjective. And so I love to think about the TV show Frasier because are you familiar with the show?
Of course. I mean, I'm more of a Seinfeld fan myself, but yes, I do know Frasier.
Okay, so
let me ask, how old are you? I'm curious to see, because I bet you some of the guys who are listening are like, Frasier? Like,
what is Frasier?
Even Seinfeld, I know Seinfeld, like I never even watched an episode. It'd probably be a lot of young guys on this.
Yeah, so I'm 30, and Frasier was on when I was in high school, and I fell in love with the Crane brothers. Mm-hmm. And so they're, Frasier and Niles, fun to them is going to the opera and wine tasting. Fun to their dad, Marty, is like sitting on his lazy boy, drinking beer, or playing poker. And so, like, two examples of what fun, like vastly different meanings for the word fun. And so when guys pause and say, like, all right, I like to have fun. What does that mean to me? Just sharing that detail is going to resonate with a girl who shares that in common.
Okay, got it. So what were those questions you said again? The what, how?
Yeah, it's why, what, and how.
Why, what, and how. And how can we relate that to this?
And so the what question is, what do you do what is it for you that's fun? And then you would share what it was. And let's say it's poker, not
great.
Going to the opera.
That's great. Let's use that.
Yeah, let's go with that. And so okay, what is it? It's playing poker with your buddies. Now, why is it fun? It's like because you're sitting around bullshitting, having a good time. It's like a fun and challenging game. You're just starting to get really good at it. And
you know what? There's I think your hair might be scraping against the.
Sorry. Let me take off. Yeah, let me tie a ponytail here. And I move when I talk, so I'll try not to do that as well.
No worries. It's just something, whatever was scraping against the thing.
No, yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, I've got a different hairstyle now, and you let me know if you hear it.
Okay. So we're talking about poker.
Continue. Right, we're talking about poker here. And so the question is, what is fun to you? And the answer is poker. And then why is it fun to you? Is it because it is the one night a week you get to hang out with all your guy friends and they come over and that's Friday night for you every night, you look forward to it all week? Is it that you're learning how to play poker and you're really challenged by mastering the game? Is it that you mainly just want to lose some money, get competitive, and just enjoy like hanging out and bullshitting? Whatever it is your reasoning for why it's fun is what girls will be interested in learning about you.
Okay, got it. I like that. That's very specific. So do you think a guy should do that with all of his things that he likes to do and just kind of list like, I like poker and this is why I like poker, and I like going hiking, and this is why I like going hiking, and things like that? I mean, do you think you should kind of list it off, or what do you think is the best structure for a profile?
Sure. Well, structure-wise, the more conversational you can be, the better. And sometimes it is, sometimes writing about yourself is awkward. And if it comes off more as a list because that's how you write it and that's the best you can get out of yourself because it's a little awkward and weird, that's fine too. Really, it's important that you're sharing what you're into and why and what it means to you and how you back that statement up in your everyday life so that a girl can see if she shares it in common and be interested in talking about it with you.
How long do you think a profile should be?
It totally depends on the site you're using. OkCupid is my personal favorite. I think there's a lot of freedom and personality to the profile itself. So for a typical self-summary, which would be in OkCupid or Match, something like 3 to 5 paragraphs. And a paragraph can be like a line or two, or it could be like 5 lines. Not to be too specific there, but with it within that range.
Wow, so it seems kind of like it could be kind of long.
And if you're used to using apps, then yes, that feels very long. But also 3 paragraphs of a couple lines each is not that long.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're a smart, intelligent guy with a full life and interests. It should be, shouldn't be too hard to think of 1 or 2 thoughts a paragraph and then say why that's something that's important to you.
What if you're not?
What if you're not smart and interesting?
Yeah. What if you don't have an interesting life, or what if you have writer's block, so to speak? You're like, I don't know. I don't do anything. I go to work. I come home. I go to school. Come home. That's pretty much it.
That's where those questions come in. So it's like, all right, you go to school. What are you going to school for? Why did you choose that? How are you excited to apply that in your future? I go to work. Well, what do you do? Why do you do it? What do you like about it? If that's not what you want to be doing, what's something that you're interested in, and how are you pursuing that?
Okay.
Does that make sense, or
Yeah.
are you still thinking that? Yeah. I mean, and the bottom line is that
you're doing something with your life. So you're doing, unless you're literally sitting at
Right.
home looking at a wall all day, you're doing something, and there's ways to write about it and describe it and explain to people why it is something that you do.
Yeah. And you should never feel like who you are is wrong, because if a great day for you is getting up, going to work, coming home, and watching Netflix, and you're genuinely happy with that, then the right girl for you is probably going to be doing something similar. She's going to be so relieved when she comes to your profile and is like, oh, this guy's right up my alley. We're just going to have a great time. We're going to be chill. We're going to relax together. And it's like, really, so what are you watching on Netflix? Why? It's like, there's more to dig there. And, maybe it's documentary marathons. Maybe it's Frasier marathons. There's always more to your life than you think there is. And you have to just ask those questions to dig at it so that the right girl can come to your profile, read it, and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the guy for me.
Cool. I like that. What other tips do you have in terms of the writing portion of the profile?
It's like specific techniques for getting over the weirdness of it, or what do you mean by that?
Anything. Writing the profile, things that you should put in, whatever you got.
A good general tip is feel positive about this whole experience. Don't feel like you're stuck online dating, because when you feel that way, it shows up in your profile. And it's a bummer. So when you feel good about yourself and you feel good about sharing what you are, and the details that motivate and drive you, bringing that attitude really helps. Online dating is something that is, quite frankly, like a miracle of our time. I think it's so cool that we get to have this. I think it's so cool that we get to be proactive in this way to meet people we wouldn't normally meet. 35% of relationships now start online, and they may be more successful in the long run than people who just, meet at the grocery store or through friends. So bring that attitude of positivity into your profile, or just keep that in mind as you're writing it. Don't feel like it's a chore to write, to put yourself out there. I think that's a general tip about writing your profile.
I like that. Are you doing online dating right now?
Not currently. I'm happily dating somebody for about a couple of years now, but I had a really great time meeting awesome people when I was online dating.
Did you meet him online?
No, I kind of wish I did, because it would make for a better story. But it's something that I also say to my clients, is that online dating can't be your only way of meeting people. You still need to put yourself out there and make new friends, go to an event that you maybe kind of want to blow off. In my case, sometimes it was about like meeting somebody online or going to I'm a little bit of an introvert, so it would be going to a party that I didn't want to go to, or motivating myself to like go on that date, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who that person will be friends with. You don't know what that might turn into. So just keep in mind that real life is where things happen too. And that's how I met my boyfriend in real life.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I wish it was online, because that would be a better story.
Well, right. I was going to ask about him and ask him what his profile was, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I agree, though. That's something I preach a lot on this podcast, is that you should be using all resources to go out and meet women. You know, it shouldn't just be all online. It should be apps. It should be online. It should be going out and meeting girls. You should do everything, because there's different girls and on different platforms and different ways of meeting them. So why not kind of dip into all those at once, you know?
That's so true. Yeah, and you also have to gain confidence in person, because the whole point of online dating is to meet. So if you get to the date part of it and you don't feel confident meeting a girl in person and having a conversation, getting to know her and sharing who you are, then online dating won't be successful for you. So you have to really come at it from all angles.
Right, absolutely. Let's talk about the pictures on a profile. What kind of tips do you have for guys getting those pictures on there?
Sure. So for your main profile picture, which is the picture a girl will see in her search results, something that's cropped fairly closely to your face will get you the best results, because she'll be able to see your face most clearly in her search results. So literally, hundreds of men's pictures. The best picture you can choose for that, the more it will work to your advantage. And beyond that, really, quality photography. It doesn't have to be professional, but it shouldn't be blurry or dark. Photos showing your life and interests, you with friends, you traveling, you reffing your nephew's soccer game. The more photos you have that can show what your life looks like and what you look like in a flattering way, the better.
What do you think, if you had to say, like, let's give really specific examples. If there's only 3 pictures a guy should have, what should those 3 be? Like, pretend, make some guy up and describe what those 3 pictures should be.
Great. Okay. So John's main profile picture should be one hitting somewhere around his shoulders in the crop. And it should be him looking friendly. It doesn't have to be a full-blown smile, but it shouldn't be like a Zoolander pout. Just like him looking normal and friendly, well lit. You can see his face well. You don't have to be a male model. You just need to look like yourself and look like somebody who is not going to, stranger danger you when you meet them in person. So look friendly and normal and remain.
The big prescription glasses with the mustache.
But if that's what you look like, maybe that's just what you look like.
You look like you're straight out of 1987.
Yeah,
change
but
your
smile,
style.
Smile and don't make it look like it was your mugshot.
Right.
Okay, so that should be John's main profile picture. John's second profile picture should be him looking like he's got people in his life who care about him, that he's able to maintain quality, lasting relationships. Him with a buddy, or him with a niece or nephew, or him arm around your mom and dad is always a heartwarmer. So some version of John in a social situation, and bonus points if it's a full body shot. If it's not, then John's third picture can be John alone, involved in one of his interests. Like I said, maybe it's him hiking. Bonus points if it's a full body shot. Bonus points if it's him hiking, full body shot with his dog. If you can take a profile picture with a pet, odds really do increase in your favor, because girls love that. If you don't have a dog or a cat or a cute animal, you do not need to force it.
Why do girls love that? What is it about that?
I don't know. It probably goes back to caveman days. It's like our caretaker instincts kicking in, or we're seeing that they are able to be, good protectors. That's what I think. But also just like, who doesn't like a cute dog or cat or elephant? Whatever it is it's just something that's triggers that nurture, I think.
Totally. Okay, cool. I like that. Continue, or was that it? Was that all?
Those are John's 3 pictures.
Okay, those are it. Those are the 3 pictures. I like that. So some kind of headshot almost with a smile, something of him doing something active, body shot is a plus, and then something of him doing something with people that he's close with, also body shot again is a plus.
Exactly. And that photo that's active, he doesn't have to be physically active. He might be playing Settlers of Catan and it's an action shot of him like closely considering his next move. It's whatever his interest is, but showing him involved in something that backs up the detail he shares in his written profile is always really nice to see in a profile picture. It's also giving girls a glimpse of what this guy's going to be like when she just comes to his profile and then just starts with his pictures.
Okay, got it. So usually the girl will look at the pictures and then move on to the profile. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah, I'd say so,
Physical attraction is a big part of it.
Right. I love it. Cool. Any other tips, anything else that you can share with us? Any kind of last things that that guys should do when creating their dating profile?
Sure, let me think about that. I will say a missed opportunity, I'm not sure if we're talking specifics here, but for OkCupid, one of the biggest missed opportunities that I see, here, let me back it up a little bit. For any online dating site, use all of the opportunities that are given to you to share personal information. So if you're on Match.com, there are a bunch of little different essay sections that are separate from the in your own words section. Maximize that opportunity to share who you are. Same goes for OkCupid, same goes for eHarmony. If you're using Tinder or Happen or some other kind of app, just use the space that's available to you. If you don't, you're missing an opportunity to connect with the right girl for you. Beyond that, specifically in OkCupid, the very last section is called You Should Message Me If. And I love that section because it's an opportunity for you to talk directly to the girl you want to meet. And so many guys say something really basic here, like, you should message me if you like what you see and you want to talk. And this is your opportunity to suggest date ideas, to talk directly to her in a way that resonates with who she is. Let me think of a really good specific example here. So the Settlers of Catan example. Are you familiar with that game?
I have heard of it, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a fun game, but it's not for everybody. And so that would be an example. If you wanted to appeal to the right women for you, you might mention something like, you should message me if you enjoy Settler of Catan game nights with your friends, or you can say things to her that...
You can message me if you love cozying up to a good Netflix movie while we chill and drink red wine.
Yeah, and even better if you can say... what
Frasier, Netflix. Frasier, Netflix. Binge watching with red wine.
Yeah, right. Like a Parks and Rec marathon with... Right, exactly.
Wes Anderson movies.
Exactly.
Only before year 2005.
Exactly. I love that because the right women for you are gonna be like, okay, yes, I will watch The Royal Tenenbaums with him. I will not watch Grand Budapest Hotel.
Very good.
He gets me.
Very good.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's polarizing. Some girls are like, wait, Wes Anderson, huh? And then other girls are going to be like, oh my God,
Yeah,
yes, right? It's either like big hit or big miss, and that's good because you want those big hits.
exactly. And really, it's just those are the things that those details, women can find in common with. They can appreciate that about you, can admire about you, or just find interesting about you. And at the end of the day, when we see what we have in common and the stuff we can talk about, that's when we'll be interested in meeting you.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, great. Emily, thank you from menaskm.com. Thank you for giving us some really good tips here in terms of profile creation. I think that if guys were to just use the tips that they heard here on this episode, they'd be able to get some really serious results in terms of their online dating presence. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here. And tell us a little bit about the ebook that they can go pick up on your website.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. And yeah, the ebook is it's available on my website. It's called The Ultimate Step-by-Step Guide for Creating Your Profile. And I don't know, it's like something like 60 something pages of literally step-by-step the questions to ask yourself and your goals for writing each section and why that is and how it appeals to women, and just breaks down each section of an OkCupid profile, and it's applicable to Match as well. But you're right, what we talked about today also, it was a really good look at the standout tips from that ebook.
Fantastic. Cool. Thanks so much again. Go check her out, menaskm.com. Thanks.
Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. Over 18 and want a question answered on the podcast? Email all your questions to trip@tripadvice.com.